Welcome to Impossible Coin.
No. Is that Duckett? Duckett, get the fuck out of here.
Guys, I'm really sad.
Are you sad because we're kicking you off our podcast already? You've been here less than 10 seconds.
I mean, I don't know what I've ever done. I may have used...
Are you sure? It's recorded. It's on the internet. Go away.
I mean, I sometimes use parody and satire as a way to communicate people. And I've experienced a lot of pain in my life.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pain in my life. But right now I really hurt.
That's unfortunate, but this is not a vehicle for your internal sorrow. You know how to apologize. Go get Brian.
Game Stonk is currently $63.77. And I gotta tell you, I'm losing my dick here. I'm losing it.
Well, here's the thing. It's not about getting dick. It's about holding the line. If you weren't prepared to lose everything that you didn't have to begin with, then, it wasn't the bid for you.
Duckett wasn't here on principle. He was trying to cash in, and, he was dumb for trying to do it, just like he's dumb for being here right now.
I don't know why you're so mean to me, Neckhole.
Once again, check the tapes. Get the fuck off our show. Where the fuck is Brian?
Neckhole, one day you're going to learn that you shouldn't be mean to people.
Holy shit.
All right, well,
God.
Thank you for being...
Hi, everyone. This is Rocky again. Welcome to Impossible Coin. Brian's not here, but maybe he'll show up someday. But once again, this is a podcast about video games. We're here every week, and once again, I think we're going to start with Tegan. Tegan, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing lots of games. That's a lie. I've been playing 2 games.
Okay.
And I actually haven't been playing one of those 2 games. So it's fine. Alex has been playing Dark Souls, and he played Dark Souls 1, and then he's almost done with Dark Souls 2 again in under a week. So, these games aren't that hard.
I do know that Dark Souls, people are always playing them, but I have seen, a resurgence of clips lately. Did something happen?
I don't think so. I think people are just depressed and tired and want to rage against a machine, and it's much easier to rage against Dark Souls.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, guys, are we recording
you
already?
You won't get coronavirus.
Oh,
yeah,
hi,
we're
Brian.
recording already. You missed it.
Oh, shit, well...
Were you, locked? Were you locked in a closet or something?
I was just in the bathroom.
Also, Duckett's in your house again. I don't know if you know.
Motherfucker! God damn it.
So, Tegan, this is it. Now we have to buy plane tickets to go install a new door on Brian's office.
What if we just install it on his house?
I'm interested in that.
Brian?
The thing that I find really, really frustrating is my door was locked. I listened to you guys. You were absolutely right. It's just... sometimes I invite over a festival and I might leave the door unlocked if I know he's coming over. But, the door was locked. I was anticipating no one. This is deeply frustrating. That means that there's a strange man in my house. I'm surprised I'm not more scared right now.
Brian, at this point, I think it's safe to say you have a rat problem and you need to hire an exterminator.
Tegan, are you saying that I need to have Duckett Sequoia killed?
No, I'm saying you have a rat problem and you need to hire an exterminator. What you interpret that as is up to you.
Okay. Can you estimate the size of this rat, and do you think this rat has ever had sex on a pile of lettuce?
I think it is large and quite possibly, but it wasn't good for the female rat.
Oof.
As they say, got him.
Does that mean that they were outside? You think Duckett's an exhibitionist? I don't care.
I could see if he was playing GameStop to gain something. I could see it.
Yeah.
Oh man. So were you talking about the increase in Dark Souls clips which are out on the internet right now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There is an explanation for that, and it's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
So periodically, the Dark Souls community will do this thing where they put a particular focus on repopulating one of the games in the series. So that way, if new players who choose to jump in call for someone to help, there will be someone available. It is the healthy half of the Dark Souls community deliberately trying to help with new player onboarding.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just like now, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Neat.
But yeah, he beat all of Dark Souls 1. He started playing Dark Souls 2. And he was like, have you ever seen Dark Souls 2? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure I've seen you play Dark Souls 2, but I'm not positive. And he started playing Dark Souls 2, and he got to this part, and I don't know the names of any of the places, so, like, rip me. But he got to this part that it's, like, it's all white marble castle stuff. There are these, like, round platforms, and they're connected by a series of bridges and stairs. And they have these very, very large guards on them, and then these very, very small, like, white knights on them. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this part. If you go that way, as long as you don't pass the midpoint of that bridge, you won't trigger the guard. And he was like, how do you know that? And I was like, I remember you playing this game. I remember things about games that I've seen once before. It comes into my brain and it gets trapped, Alex. That's what happens. So, yeah, it's been fun. He's near the end of Dark Souls 2 where he's going through, like, the sandy area, and there are all those totally not Skulltulas, what are you talking about? Or Skulltulas, or whatever you want to call them. They're, like, big spiders, and they have, like, the skull pattern on their backs, and then they drop down from the ceiling. And sometimes they take over, like, dead bodies and, like, pilot them around. You know what I'm talking about. He's at that part. It's good. Good time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Rocky, if I've asked you this before, feel free to say, like, you forgot, old man. I know you've done Bloodborne, and like, in fact, we have talked specifically about how, like, Bloodborne and, like, Sekiro ask for more aggressive play from the player than, like, Dark Souls would. But, like, have you done the Dark Souls trilogy?
No.
Okay. You have any interest in it? Do you ever go, like, I want to get in there?
No, I've literally never done that, but I did play Dark Souls. I have Prepare to Die edition on my PC, so I might try that on PC. I never played Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3 is something that a friend bought me who really wants me to experience that so we can talk about it, and I literally have never played it. It's a dark spot on my friendship with this person.
It's one of those series for me that I wish. I don't know. I keep on thinking about trying to get into Dark Souls 2 specifically.
Oh.
Why? Because Dark Souls 2 has equipment in it that effectively makes the experience less fuck you for the player.
I know what you're talking about. But my understanding, like, the level design in Dark Souls 2 is punishing in very different ways. Like, one of the things that I understand that a lot of people like about Dark Souls as like, a series, but much more in the original, is that you're able to build your way out of your problems more often than not. I mean, you gotta learn how to dodge or, like, gain the patience to block and find your openings or whatever. But if you're losing by, like, a hair, there's something you can adjust by a bit of grinding, and that's it. Like the way that you would in an RPG. But in Dark Souls 2, a lot of the design isn't like, one guy in front of you. Like the shift from like Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2 is mostly that instead of fighting one tough guy, you fight like 3. It becomes much more about the numbers, I suppose. But just, you end up getting swarmed more often than not when you lose, rather than, like, losing a close fight versus a single enemy. And while I agree that, like, the gear may, like, help you in, like, these single fights, like, definitely, like, in boss encounters, like, you're gonna lose a lot more to just, like, straight-up monsters in the field if you're not, like, extremely patient. At least that's what I understand. I haven't gone through the whole thing.
I mean, that sounds fair. Might I recommend, you don't have to play Dark Souls if you don't want to. Alex can beat it in under a week, so.
For sure.
You can just watch him. And you'll get all of the good, like, solid outbursts of periodic, son of a bitch.
See, the thing is, Deacon, is I want to shout son of a bitch.
I mean, you can also shout son of the bitch, because you could play alongside, simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying specifically for Rocky, if he doesn't feel like doing that, he could just watch Alex and listen to Alex scream son of a bitch.
Yeah. I could just sit in the background, my armchair, my pipe, and just like, that makes sense.
Yeah, or do what I do and be like, you died there.
Yeah, looks like you ran a little low on health on that one, my guy.
Yeah, I just sit there and I go, it would have probably been better if you pull back. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Thanks, Tegan. I appreciate it.
Oh, man.
Conveniently enough, Alex has expressed a desire to start streaming. Mm-hmm. And I think Dark Souls would be a fun one for him.
That could be cool.
He's, like, very good at it, but also, he's just very good at video games, so it's always fun for me to watch.
Mm.
How do you guys feel about mods that change the text in Dark Souls when you die?
Oh, to be like, what up, dumbass?
Yeah.
Fuck that one up, fam.
I guess they're neat in, like, meme form. I don't know how well they transfer to, like, a gameplay experience.
All these years of memes later, still trying to figure out how I feel about the one that changes "you died" to "thanks Obama."
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Because I can't figure out if it was like dunking on the people who would say "thanks Obama" all the time. You know, like, ooh, gas prices went up. Thanks Obama. I'm suffering the Poe's Law problem. I can't tell the sincerity of the mod. Like, if it's a joke about the people who say "thanks Obama," then I think it's funny. If it means "thanks Obama" sincerely, then I hate it.
Brian, I'm pretty sure this is a conundrum that you are uniquely qualified to solve. Like, you just need to dig into the history of mod.
Oh, God.
Yeah, right. That does sound exactly like your bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Spiraling through pages and pages of fucking forum histories to find the law. Oh, no. This is exactly
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my brand of bullshit.
Oh, no, Brian, you've exposed yourself.
Oh, no.
Alexa, play Despacito.
Yeah.
Alexa, play Country Roads.
Country Roads. My raid group is finally on the last fight of, like, the current raid tier. We've been taking it very slow, and we've had some personnel changes along the way, but we made it. We're, like, at the first part of the door boss.
Mm-hmm.
This past weekend, we got the Final Fantasy XIV showcase, which normally happens during FanFest, which would have been in November, but COVID and everything. They decided we're not going to have our big MMO convention this year in the age of quarantine.
Which honestly was probably a saving grace.
Yeah. So instead, since they normally do an announcement or a live letter specifically in February, they put the presentation that would have been at FanFest there. So we got a new peek into what's coming up in the game. Protag is now styled as a paladin. Apparently they're going to the moon, which is, I don't know what that's going to be about, but it seems lit. And we've realized that essentially the goddess that, like, protects the protagonist and what appears to be our ultimate adversary aren't actually gods at all, but summons.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? And so, like, we need to now, I think they're going to dig into, like, how they were summoned in the first place and why they still exist. Like, how are they perpetually summoned, essentially, as opposed to things like Ifrit and Shiva that, like, you need to bring certain crystals to make them work. Also, they debuted a new class, which is the 4th healer, which is Sage, which is weird because it looks like, what's her name? I think it's like East 13 from BlazBlue. Like, she has, like, these floating, like, spear things.
Oh, yeah.
The new healer's going to have those, and, like, Alpha Node used that in the trailer. Apparently, it's a shield healer that can self-buff for damage and can move, like, their little floating spear things to, like, protect people or to fire, like, huge amounts of lasers. But because there's a 4th healer and it's a shield healer, they said that they're going to shift the healer that I currently play, Astro, probably to a regen healer. But they didn't just say that. They said that we're going to make a bunch of adjustments. And, like, they're tuning stuff so all the numbers are lower. So, like, you won't be able to hit for 200k damage anymore in 6.1 or 6.0. New raid tier, new bosses, new city, whatever. And then they're saying the after story from 6.0 is going to cut off the story entirely. Like, it's going to be the end of, like, the Final Fantasy story they've been telling up until this point. And 6.1 is going to represent a new story, which I'm really interested about because I'm not sure, I don't know that much about WoW, but, like, to make, like, an entire new story start, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years down the line seems strange to me. And so I'm really interested to see how Yoshi P and their team will handle it. There's also a new melee class that's supposed to be shown in May, which we don't know anything about. But the thing about Yoshi P as a creator, he does this thing that I've actually seen a handful of Japanese creators do. When they do public appearances, they wear t-shirts that are like clues. So for the first half of the presentation, he was wearing a t-shirt that said, "No comment." And when he was talking about like the new like shield healer and the changes that were coming to the game. But like after like they showed the trailer again, he changed shirts to something that says "Filth and Fury." And so it's making me think that the new melee class will probably be like Viking or Berserker. And that could be pretty cool because there aren't a lot of characters in the game that use axes. There is like the warrior class, which uses like a huge great axe. So like maybe we'll get something like hand axes or like hatchets. I don't know, but I'm excited. The game looks cool. And like, I'm interested to see where it goes next. Also, they're adding new housing. There's apparently going to be a new farming simulator that's going to be thrown in. I don't know what that's going to be like, but Stardew Final Fantasy XIV doesn't sound too bad to me.
Stardew Harvest Valley, 15 and a half.
And the role quests, the crafter and gathering stuff is going to expand the same way they did with Shadowbringers, which is something I didn't really get to talk about before. Before, like, if you started a class, like, let's say you were a summoner or whatever, and you leveled, and then, like, every 5 levels, you'd have a job quest you had to go do. And so, like, now, because there are, like, 15 classes now, they've consolidated them to roles. So, like, essentially a healer will go, like, on the healer quest. And, like, the various role quests in Shadowbringers added up to, like, a special cutscene that showed up at the end of, like, the game's, like, final encounter. And you got, like, a special title for it. And that seemed a lot cleaner than what they had been doing before. Instead of, like, having, like, an individual NPC that, like, didn't lend itself to, like, a shared experience the way that the other ones did. But I'm also interested in, like, some of the things they've done for crafters and gatherers. Like, there's a thing that they essentially made it easier for everyone to power level classes because they wanted everyone to be able to omnicraft. And there's, like, 14 crafter classes or whatever. But there was also a raid mechanic that was specifically for crafters and gatherers where you're, like, essentially rebuilding a part of, like, destroyed civilization. Like, you basically go to, like, a part of, like, this country, Ishgard, that was, like, fucked over by dragons or whatever, and, like, rebuild it with, like, your crafter gathering skills. And once you finish, like, the long quest, which took, like, months to do, the class that contributed the most gets a monument and representation to their class. And the first North American server to finish was Balmung. And they got a, like, culinarian statue, so it has, like, the twin frying pans, and it looked really cool.
Oh, that's neat.
I'd like to see more sort of, like, community-based, like, stuff that isn't specifically tied to, like, raiding, because most people don't raid anyways. Like, about, like, 10% of the player base raids, and even, like, the toughest content, only, like, 2% of them clear. And, like, 2% of, like, 15 million isn't a joke, but, like, there's so many more people playing. I hope that there's, like, enough experiences to, like, be worthwhile to these people, especially since they're paying for a subscription.
MMOs are more than just raids, is
Yeah,
what you're hoping they convey.
I hope so. And it looks like they've put some earnest effort into it, and I hope that continues. Because there's a lot of really good things that weren't sung loudly about when it came to, like, Shadowbringers, and so, like, I hope that those things, like, continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so too. Because I like MMOs, but I don't necessarily like MMOs that focus on the raid stuff.
Yeah. Because honestly, raiders aren't my favorite people.
They get grumpy.
They do.
If, like, you're not as good as them, it's just all not a vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You've been playing another MMO, right?
Yeah, I've been playing another MMO. An MMO that doesn't focus solely on raiding.
Mm-hmm.
Genshin Impact is a good game. Still a good game. The 1.3 update dropped recently, and currently what's going on is the 5 Flushes of Fortune event. You get a special camera and that's camera with a K.
Okay.
And your special camera can only take weird photos. And what you have to do is every day there's a quest to take photos of certain creatures to get special weird colored photos. And you can turn in these weird colored photos to a merchant in Liyue who will give you access to a prize pool. You get both the paid currency and the free currency. Sometimes you get like other items and that sort of thing. And it's really neat. And there are lots of people online who are like helping out each other by being like, this counts as this, and you can use these creatures to get these sorts of things. So, like, it's not just hostile creatures, it's also, like, friendly creatures that count, as long as it's a living creature. Characters, though, do not count, which a lot of people are kind of bummed by, but that's okay. I think that's only fair because not everybody has every character, you know?
Yeah.
So, it makes sense when you, like, take 2 seconds to think about it. But yeah, it's been fun. Starting shortly will be the Liyue Lunar New Year event, which will be cool. They've already guaranteed you can choose one 5-star character from a pool. All of the characters featured in the New Year's event are going to be from Liyue, which makes sense because Liyue is totally not China.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. It'll be a fun way to, you know, continue to explore this neat fake culture.
Yeah, I'm like, one of the things that I've definitely, like, stopped playing for a while. But one of the things that I do want to sit down and do is, like, go through all the books that I've picked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of books.
Yeah, and, like, it looks like they actually have a lot of text in them. And, like, some of them are, like, novels. And, like, I guess some of it is also, you know, like, just cultural knowledge or, like, stories or, like, textbooks and whatnot. But, like, I really want to sit down and dig into them at some point.
I am a little bit sad that Brian Davy Gilbert doesn't work for Polygon anymore because I would like a Genshin book report, please. You know? Just tell me which ones are the best ones.
He's definitely a superpower. He just reads, like, an insane amount of shit and then tells us about it.
I mean, to be fair, I also read an insane amount of shit. I could do it.
Ooh, Tegan, are you going to do it? Are you going to tell us the best books in Genshin Impact?
Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do a special series where I read a book and then give you the summary of the book as like a Patreon exclusive. That might be neat. And then I could just be like, hey, this is the book I read this week. It was okay. It was a book. Suffered from translation error.
I look forward to us putting up something on the Patreon feed where the outro where we tell people the socials takes longer to say than the content of the Patreon episode. Like, I read a book and it was okay. You can find us wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah! That sounds like fun! No, I'm kidding. I would do my real research. I'm not like a literary analyst or anything, but like I would read the book and tell you exactly what happened in the book and why it was good or bad. Or why I thought it was good or bad. It'd be my opinion. You know. It's an idea. We can think about it. Consider it. But yeah, Genshin Impact, still fun. Still cute. I have not done enough polls to hit pity yet or anything. So, like, I haven't gotten a 5-star in a while, but that's okay. I also am not, like, trying really hard to get Zhao, who's the newest character. And he's very okay. He's very fast. He's a very fast character, which is nice. And his first ability allows you to kind of like teleport through enemy lines, which is also neat. He doesn't like incur attacks of opportunity or whatever. And his drop down from the air is really fun. I don't know. He's just fun. He's very acrobatic in ways that I feel like a lot of other Genshin characters aren't. You know?
Yeah.
He's acrobatic in a way that's similar to Keqing, but not identical.
Okay. I haven't dug into him at all. Maybe I'll give him a shot.
Yeah, just do his trial. You can try the characters in the banner for free, which is nice.
True.
You just use that to decide whether or not you want to try for him or not. Doesn't hurt, and you get Primo Gems, so, you know. Free in-game currency is free in-game currency.
Okay. Brian, it appears you have a litany of things you'd like to talk about.
Oh, no.
What you got?
I guess first, I would like to offer y'all 20 seconds of video that made me supremely happy.
Okay.
Please feel free to click on that YouTube's link.
this isn't going to work for our people who are audio only. So...
Well, they can Patreon.
Yeah.
Go take a look at the link.
But also, like, if you aren't, are you going to tell them what the video is?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is this Elder Scrolls? It's like an Elder Scrolls mod of the Lincoln Memorial.
Right.
And also Joe Biden's just there. All right.
I don't know why that gets me. Okay, so it's just this 20-second fucking video of, like, entering the Lincoln Memorial. And for some reason, the video, which is video and not a render, just has this, like, quality about it where it looks like a render. Maybe it's, like, the speed at which it's moving. And the person who's posted it has, like, layered footfall sound effects from Elder Scrolls into it, like, thrown music from Skyrim into it, and has put HUD display stuff on screen from a Skyrim. And so when you get into the Lincoln Memorial and you round the corner and there's Joe Biden with, like, the current NPC quest target gem hanging above his head, and then the talk A Joe, and he just says, hello. Like, I don't know what video this is from. I don't know when this was released. I mean, I guess the source material. I know when this video came out, but I must have watched this thing 20 times and laughed every fucking time. I'm such a child. Like, I love this so much.
I hope you like it.
I don't think that liking it makes you a child.
I mean, one thing I was hoping for with a Biden presidency is that when Joe Biden was our vice president, the meme economy based on Biden as vice president was very, very strong.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I hoped that a President Joe Biden, in addition to rolling back some of the atrocities of the last 4 years, might, bring some additional strength to our national political meme economy.
Well, if we're going to be honest, like, there were a lot of Trump memes. Like, a lot of Trump memes.
I guess they didn't feel fun because there was so much at stake and he was so bad.
That's fair.
Like, I didn't feel like I had the space to, like, laugh at Trump memes because it was just like, fuck, we're all gonna die, just...
Yeah, it really did feel like that. A lot of people did die, to be fair.
Yes!
People did die.
A great many!
Happy anniversary to our first COVID death, by the way.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah! Year ago today! Recording day, not posting day.
Yeah.
No, you know what, Tegan? I think that it's actually earlier than that because remember, like, once the CDC started, like, going back and, like, tracking early COVID deaths, they're like, hey, before the Seattle deaths, there were, like, deaths that weren't recorded properly in California.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is that, like, we're now in a space where I feel comfortable laughing at Bernie wearing mittens in a variety of exciting ways, including in Resident Evil 7, and Biden in The Elder Joe's 5. It's a good time. I like it.
For sure.
Yeah, I will put this up on our Twitter. I think it might also be just, like, the way he says hello just totally sounds like, 9 out of 10 NPCs in Skyrim who just greet you with the most completely neutral hello regardless of the situation. You walk in with, like, 300 pounds of, like, Daedric fucking armor on and a bunch of, like, conjured monsters that do your bidding behind you, and they're just like, hey there.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. So what's going on? So I continued to be pissed about not being able to get an Xbox Series X or PlayStation. It's just fucking... Unless you're really willing to commit to the bit obsessively, you're just not getting one.
I mean, I don't know. I did it.
Tegan, you have connections.
I do have connections, yeah.
Yep.
Still did it.
Okay, Tegan, as we literally just reviewed, you have connections.
Yeah, I know, but my connections were just like, hey, we're gonna have them. Just be here. And I was like, okay.
Okay, Tegan, are you doing that thing where in life you're born on third base and are convinced you hit a triple? Next thing I know, you're going to tell me I got no fucking basement. We're good. Oh, God.
I mean, I don't have a basement. I have a split level. I want a basement. I need a basement. It'd be nice to have some goddamn storage in this house, but
There was a restock this week at like most major retailers for both the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I was literally on fucking Best Buy's homepage the moment the Xbox Series X went live, which was at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. And at exactly 3 p.m., I was logged into my Best Buy account. I had the page refreshed, saw the add to cart button, clicked it, and it was weird. It took me like to a screen that said, get fucked.
Like the Dark Souls
Just
screen?
straight up like that?
Yeah, it was just like a picture of a guy in a blue polo shirt, and he was wearing like those like mirror shades you see all the Republicans wear. And he was holding up double middle fingers, and it said, get fucked. And I was like, that's really aggressive, Best Buy. That's really aggressive. And so then I went to like Twitter immediately afterwards, and I saw everybody being like, hey, like, I got mine, suck on my balls. And every one of them was like, that's right, I had to use like a fucking shoe bot to get my Xbox. And I'm like,
you're right, you gotta use the bots. Dude, they're using bots, dude. You gotta use bots. Come on.
And then I saw like Sony came out and was like, once again, I'm asking you to understand that like we literally can't produce these things fast enough and we're encountering a parts shortage. And I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. This is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to buy a PS5 in 2021. I'm just not. Sony is going to have to like come up with like the most exciting first party fucking exclusives to make me reconsider my position. But like as it is right now, it just seems like this enormous amount of frustration to buy a box, which I'll mostly use to play my PS4 games.
You know, it's really funny. It's actually going to get worse when they actually have games for the PS5.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
With the Switch, there were these ebbs and flows to availability for the console, where at some point, the install base that wanted to be the launch install base all has their console.
Well, I do want to say the Switch was like competing with Apple because like was it like the 12? But like one of the new iPhones used the same chip that they use for the Switch.
Yeah, so back in 2017 it was the iPhone 10.
Okay. And so like what happened is that because Apple like functions on these hype cycles, the demand for like 10s dropped significantly once like a percentage of their base switches over. And then that freed it up for Nintendo to do the same thing. So like my question is, if PS5 is encountering a parts shortage, are they competing with someone specifically, or is there simply like some component that's just like literally limited that they don't have access to?
It's literally like raw components.
Oh, then yeah.
Like,
that's probably not going to change, Brad. It's just going to get worse. Get a bot, man. You got to do it.
I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to fucking do it.
Why?
Do what I did then. Do what I did. Get a man on the inside.
Yeah, true. Just make friends at your local GameStop.
Use your old Babbage's connections.
True.
Everybody I know who worked at Babbage's no longer works there. And I worked there briefly when it was called GameStonk.
Mm-hmm.
When I was like, let me revisit the heady days of my youth. And I was like, oh, wow, Christ, this is a nightmare now.
Oh, that's right. Working retail is garbage. Hang on. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay, well, Brian, I think now you have a new opportunity to make some new friends that can probably help you get this newfangled video game console.
Yeah, I can wait for the fucking PlayStation, whatever. But I need an Xbox Series X. Xbox sold me on its ecosystem. I'm convinced. I know that like Hitman 3 is eligible for smart delivery, so that way when I upgrade, I just transition to the Xbox Series X version of Hitman 3. So just fucking let me have it. Just let me have it, God. Like, oh, God.
Okay, I will say I did put in the time to get the Xbox. I did, like, leave work and stand in line at a fucking GameStop in the middle of the night. That is something I did.
I am not going to go stand at fucking physical retail in the middle of a pandemic for a goddamn video game machine.
Brian, something's got to give, man. That's all I'm saying. These are the market forces that you're competing with.
You are either going to use a bot or you are going to stand in the middle of the parking lot in a pandemic. And if you're wearing a mask and social distancing appropriately, you'll be okay. Or 2 masks now, I guess, is the recommendation.
2 masks?
2 masks? 2 shots of vodka.
At least you don't put pre-workout in it, I'm fine.
All right. I seem to remember from sex ed when I was a teenager that double bagging it was never advised. Why are we double bagging it?
I don't know, that's just what the CDC recommended.
Okay, so double bagging specifically doesn't work because of the friction, and you'll end up tearing both condoms. However, double masking actually just adds a additional layer that keeps droplets away from your skin.
Okay, so don't double bag it, but do double mask it.
Right.
Fuck it, I'm just not leaving my house.
Got
I'm
it.
just not leaving my house. Oh, God.
Then you need a bot, Brian. You need a bot.
Yep.
That's the meta.
Or you need a man on the inside.
Yeah.
It's too bad there isn't like a Grubhub where like you can pay a man to stand in line for you, you know?
I mean, technically there is. Because you can use stuff like Favor, and I believe there is an app for things like tasks. Is it called Tasker?
TaskRabbit.
Right. TaskRabbit. There it is. Yeah, where you just send a person to do things. Of course, sending a person to pick up like a $600 video game machine is a little risky.
No, you're just sending them there to pre-order it for
Okay,
you.
that might be different.
You can pick it up yourself in your own time or have them ship it to your house, but like you're sending them there
I'm also not a
to
huge
pre-order it
fan
for you.
of the fuck you strategy, which seems to have been adopted by GameStop and Best Buy, where they're participating in a practice which has varying degrees of legality state by state, where in order to buy one of these consoles, you must do so as part of a forced bundle.
Oh, I have not. That was not my experience.
Right.
I did not have to bundle anything. Well, what's the bundle? Is the bundle good?
No, Tegan, the bundle is never good.
Sometimes the
Well,
bundles
sometimes
are
the bundle's good.
So, like, the point of the bundle is that, like, GameStop and Best Buy look at the inventory of games that they purchased for PS5 or Xbox Series X and go like, gee, we sure are having a hard time moving Disc X for this console. What if what we do is when somebody buys this console, we force them to buy 2 games and a second controller?
Okay, Brian, I acknowledge that's a thing that happens, but I can't say that's what always happens. What are the bundles that they're trying to push out?
Okay, all right. Okay, GameStop.
It's only unfair market manipulation when the people do it.
Tegan,
Yeah.
I don't have the energy.
I mean, to be fair, okay, yeah, that's fine. That was also going to be a bit, but that's fine. If Brian doesn't want to play, that's okay.
Brian doesn't want to play, I guess.
Brian used to play by leaving his door unlocked so fucking Duck Sequoia comes in and he subjects us to that, but we don't get to play by pretending we're invested in the stock market.
Oh, actually, I'm unironically investing in the stock market now, which is a whole thing.
Oh, and teach me how to do the stocks, because I have stocks, I just don't do anything with them.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to try to do like some really aggressive day trading over the next couple of weeks, and then maybe put it in something that'll probably sit still. But, yeah, that's, I'm going to try to game the stock market, I guess.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Brian found something.
Boy, who wants to get an Xbox Series X, right? Good thing it comes with Cyberpunk 2077.
Got him.
Cyberpunk 2077 is a very passable video game. It's a video game in the sense that it is a video game.
You can press fucking
Game that you can
buttons.
see on a screen.
You can press buttons to advance the storyline and stuff. I guess you can shoot people if you're into that.
You can do a sex.
You can do a lot of sex. You can do an accidental sex. It's very awkward.
You just fall in, apparently?
No, to be fair, we just opened a door, and then basically a lady jumped our bones.
Wild.
And we were like, what? And Alex was like, I didn't know you could fuck her. And I was like, I didn't know either. How long is this gonna be? And he was just like, hopefully it stops soon.
Jesus. Jesus.
We were just both sitting there staring very awkwardly at the television. It was great.
All right. So I guess all of this bitching about new gen console availability, and I'm really glad that I found what appears to be the fucking stinkiest of the bundles. Just please take this copy of Cyberpunk that we were anticipating to sell a shit ton more of. Is to say that during Christmas there were other things that you could not get, which included the Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch, which I have acquired. Hooray. And I talked about how much I enjoyed it, and I still love it. It's so pretty. It's so cute.
Is it in its box?
It is, and I take it out when I fuck with it, and then I put it back in the box. So nice, Rocky. But the other thing that you couldn't lay hands on at Christmas was the Oculus Quest 2. There was a giant jump in the Oculus install base over Christmas. Like, you could not lay hands on them. But Facebook said, like, hey, everybody, you'll be able to start getting Oculuses again right around January 20th. And sure enough, Oculuses were available and abundant right around January 20th. And one of my benefits at my job is for up to $1 threshold, I have a employee discount on my first X dollars of purchases that I make at my...
That's fucking cool.
Right. And so I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to get me an Oculus Quest 2. It'll be even discounted, and that feels great. And so it just showed up at my house the next day. And, oh, guys, this is really fucking cool.
You got it with next day shipping? Is next day shipping included?
Yeah, it was.
You could just get free next day shipping?
No, that's a default. Anybody would have had it show up at their house next day.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I could have, like, thrown down $3 to have it show up same day.
Oh, Jesus. $3 whole.
Do they just, like, fire it out of a missile from, like, a sky base or something?
Yeah, basically. They have a drone come and deliver it.
Oh, this is one of the benefits of, like, living in a town which has a warehouse/sorting center.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I forgot about that. Never mind.
Like, when you live in, like, a metro area of, like, 5.5 million, there's kind of going to be a fucking warehouse there for my employer. And I literally live down the street from the warehouse.
That's wild.
The warehouse is, like, 5 miles away to the east on my street.
You could walk there.
But I don't.
I know, but you could.
I could. And so, like, I had a box show up which had, like, our dry cat food, some new all-dressed chips from Canada, and my Oculus Quest 2.
You can get chips from Canada same day? Can you get chips from Japan?
Yes, I haven't really gotten into that scene yet. I'm just mainly been into the Kit Kat scene. But
you gotta check out the Pringles.
I have thought about getting into the Pringles scene.
You gotta get in the Pringles. They're fucking wild, my dude.
I am aware that the Pringles are wild, but, like, the Kit Kats are already a steep enough hill to climb. Getting into the Kit Kats.
Yeah, that's fair. The Kit Kats are delicious. The Kit Kats are almost always good, though. The Pringles they vary wildly. They're either great or they're terrible. There is no in between.
And also, I don't know what I could ask of a chip. Like, how do you make a chip better than the all-dressed chip? Okay? Now that I'm into fucking all-dressed chips, like, I just don't want to eat any other chips. They're the best fucking chip. They're the emperor of potato chips. Just fucking flat out.
It's fighting words.
Okay, listeners of this podcast, go get a bag of all-dressed chips and fucking tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. I dare you.
Brian, order me a bag of all-dressed chips, and I will tell you that you're wrong.
Tegan, you would do it even if you ate them and you enjoyed the delicious crunch. You're like, you know what? These are the best chips.
Oh yeah, I would tell you privately that they were the best chips, but I would also tell you publicly that they were the worst chips known to man. That's the point.
For the bit,
yeah,
yes.
For the bit.
Okay.
For the bit, yes. If you buy me a bag of chips, I will tell you privately my actual opinion on them and publicly that they're garbage.
Okay. So, the Oculus Quest 2 shows up, and I know I'm going to sound like such a fucking loser here. Even the unboxing experience felt classy and sexy.
Oh,
oh my
sure.
God.
This, like, embossed cardboard box with a hinge, like, the way the box opens feels like a cigar box, where there's, like, a single hinge on the front. And so you slide off the sleeve on the box, and then you open it, and it's just, like, it's all sitting there so neatly, and it's in these, like, little, like, white buckets. It feels very much, just as far as the, like, jerking you off through aesthetics, feel like the same way that, like, touching Apple products does. The difference is that if I bought a VR headset from Apple, we now know that what Apple would say is like, okay, yeah, pay $3,000 for that. Because there was news about that this week where Apple's going to launch a VR headset. They're going to charge $3,000 for it.
That's too much money.
Right. And so
they're going to make it. It doesn't matter. Like,
I got the Quest 2, and the reason I got the Quest 2 is that, like, I have very firm feelings with VR about having cables hanging off the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, look, if I wanted to be the fucking Predator monster, I would be the Predator monster. I would go to a jungle and I would hunt Arnold Schwarzenegger and I would make clicking noises with my mouth. I would be the Predator monster. Like, I don't want cables hanging off the fucking back of my head. I just don't. And so, like, I didn't want to get the Oculus Go when that was introduced because it seemed like it was so underpowered that all it was like strapping a shitty Android phone to your face. And it's like, let's be real. The only people who bought the Oculus Go were people who were just using it to, like, go to Pornhub and be creepy with it. You know, I wanted to wait until there was something that was, like, more robust from a PowerPoint, so that way, like, real stuff could run on it. And
Porn isn't real?
the Oculus... Well, no, porn is real, Tegan, but what I mean is that, like, if I wanted to, like, do stuff with it that was, like, comparable to, like, the quality of experiences that I was getting from like, console or PC gaming, then I couldn't do it on the Oculus Go. The main value proposition of the Oculus Go was like, so you want to watch video in this headset. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay.
Right. The Quest 2 kind of hit that benchmark for me, and I was like, okay, this seems exciting. Let me get the Quest 2 now that it's easily available. Like I said, opening the thing felt great. Setting it up is ridiculously easy, which is wild. Setting up is ridiculously easy because it's just like, hey, do you have a Facebook account? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, are you logged into your Facebook account on your phone? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, well then how about this? We're going to enable Bluetooth on your Oculus headset. And we're going to look at your phone and congratulations, you're set up.
Oh.
Yeah. It just says like, oh, you're Brian Cartwright on Facebook. So now this is pulled in and it says, all right, here are your existing friends on Facebook who are in the Oculus ecosystem. Do you want to send them all like friend requests in Oculus? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And because I have made purchases through Facebook in the past, it's like, hey, we already have your payment information set up because you've already given card information to Facebook for whatever reason. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, this is something which Sony and Nintendo need to really consider, which is just like the absolute simplicity of setup is something which is meaningful from like a marketplace positioning perspective. That when you set up the Switch or the PlayStation, both of them have these like hurdles to the experience. Like one of my favorite ones with the Switch is like, hey, did you know that the eShop can only remember one credit card at a time? That's right, bud. It only can remember one credit card at a time. So if for any reason you want to use a card which is not the card that you used last time, you're going to have to enter that whole new card number, and now the store is going to forget the last card number that you used. And yes, you can use PayPal through the store, but when you do the checkout, it will only allow you to use what is your default payment method through PayPal. So if you want to like change like the way you pay in PayPal, then you have to, before you begin the process on the store, go change your default in PayPal and then attempt your purchase. And there's just like little stuff. Like, I mean, you guys know about the ridiculousness of the Nintendo Switch ID itself and like the way the app works on your phone and all this shit. And it was just so refreshing to like go from taking something out of the box to having my identity set up with it in about 60 seconds, which felt really, really fucking classy. And I realize that a lot of that has to do with the fact that Facebook already has this like enormous market position in social media, but I think that people kind of underestimate the power of that when we're talking about like what they're doing in the VR/gaming space. They're just there.
I'm glad that experience was seamless for you, but I honestly want that to never happen to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. That sounds like a borderline nightmare scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because it is Facebook?
No,
it's because of the access.
Yeah, I don't want that level of access. I mean, to be fair, I am over here going like, if there was full dive technology, I would totally be in it. But also, like, I want to be able to pick and choose what friends I give access to my shit to. I don't want to be constantly reminded, like, hey, all of these friends that you know are already set up in here, and I already have all your payment history, and also, if you ever delete this account, you're never getting any of your shit back. I don't like that.
Mm.
I'm glad it works out for you. And I'm glad you enjoyed that particular experience, but that is not something I ever want from a gaming company or a gaming system.
So you don't want social hooks that look at an existing social network to tell you, like, okay, like, it's like right now, you can specifically add with Switch, you can add your Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll tell you which of your Twitter mutuals have Nintendo IDs.
Yep.
Are you not into that either?
No, I'm not into that either.
Okay.
I don't know all my Twitter mutuals in real life.
Okay.
You know? Why would I want them to have that kind of access to my gaming profile as well? I don't like it when people who Facebook thinks I know join Instagram. It goes, oh, this person you might know joined Instagram. I'm like, I don't want to know that. If I wanted access to their Instagram and I really knew them in real life, I would ask them for that information.
Right.
I don't want the option to share to be removed from my own power.
Mm-hmm.
My personal concern is just like the idea of like a permanent social profile.
Right.
And I treat most social media as disposable, which is ironic because I definitely use my real name pretty much everywhere it shows up. And if someone really wanted to, they could put all that stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to give them a reason to do that ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if something like out of the box shows up, it's like, hey, we got all this stuff about you. This is you, right? This is all the stuff that you've been through. These are the people you know and the connections you already have and the information you've already given to us. And now it's on this thing. And I'm just, that moment would give me pause. I would think about how much information am I really letting float out there? And I don't know. I don't feel great about it.
So, I think I agree with like a lot of the points that you guys are making.
Sure.
And I think that the notion of conveniently connecting something to my personal identity and conveniently connecting with people I truly know. You know, like back to like Tegan's point about like lots of her mutuals on Twitter aren't necessarily her friends. You know, they're just people who follow each other on the internet.
They're cosplay acquaintances. They're people I've like gamed with before, but like that doesn't mean I want them to have access to all my shit.
Right. So I guess for me, the ideal version of this kind of experience would be something which is taking my social identity from like a platform agnostic position.
Sure.
Where I'm able to say to something, I am me and this is I, and then I'm able to give it a limited amount of information about the way that I exist socially. And I think this has to probably do with like the emergence of like walled gardens as the norm. I think we've talked about that a little bit on the show, like the idea that like, you know, we spent so much time fighting to get the internet out of walled gardens and get people out of shit like CompuServe and AOL so that way they could more easily just communicate with each other across the broad internet. And now where we are is people sitting in walled gardens again, only now the walled gardens are social networks. I cannot, as a Twitter user, send a message to somebody who is a Facebook user because the goal for all of these platforms is to get you to spend as much time in their walled garden as possible to the exclusion of spending time in other walled gardens. They're not going to give you access to people that don't exist inside of their ecosystem.
Ironically, TikTok is pretty like platform agnostic.
So TikTok will allow you to send messages to people who are not TikTok users?
Yeah. Usually it's like sharing videos or whatnot. And it does require you to have an account on the other one. So those are like implications. But like TikTok doesn't really care who you're sending stuff to.
Okay.
Or where.
So, but like, can I send like call it like an email to someone through TikTok?
I I don't think your TikTok account functions as an email account specifically.
Because at this point, like, email is probably the most... Email and phone numbers are probably the truly most agnostic identities that people have. If I could, as a TikTok user, send someone an email or send someone a text message, if I know those things about their identity, then that's attractive.
I'm going to try it real quick.
Live research here, people. Okay.
That's also creepy. I don't like that.
Okay, well, then...
Maybe this has to do with, like, the experience of, like, being a woman on the internet versus other stuff. Being able to separate out where I interact with people is important to me. Because I don't want to interact with the same people all the time, and if I don't have control over where they see me, then I don't have control over how much time necessarily I am spent avoiding them, you know? If I don't want to talk to somebody who messages me on Instagram, I just won't log on to Instagram for a couple days. No big deal. But if everyone who, like, I'm on Instagram with is automatically connected to my Twitter and my Facebook and my gaming profile and everything else, then any way that I used to avoid that person is now compromised by hanging out with that person. And, like, maybe I don't want to block them or whatever, but I just don't want to talk to them in that moment or whatever. They would still have access to me, and that's not cool.
Slight interjection. It does also require an account, but as long as you have an email address, you can send emails of stuff from TikTok. So it basically bounces the link.
So you can't really, like, add text to it? Be like...
What it'll do is it'll prompt you for an email client.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, you're in an email now.
So, again, I definitely think I understand your concern, and I wonder if that's a reflection of various different social medias providing too much access to individual users because of how they want people to interact on that platform. On Instagram, you can literally send a message to fucking anyone. Anyone. Like, they don't have to in any way engage with you. Now, like, I think that, like, Instagram has some, like, minimally shitty and ultimately forgettable and not particularly helpful, air quotes, protection in that, like, for messages that it thinks, like, might not necessarily be desired by the recipient, it'll go to their other folder for messages. But, like, what fucking good does that do?
You can also make it so that people can't message you. You can say, I don't want to get messages from this person anymore. Or I don't want to get messages from anyone who isn't, like, already a mutual in this thing.
And I guess what I'm saying is that, like, why in the world... I don't understand, like, why Instagram needs a separate messaging client at all, period. Like, why do people need to fucking talk to each other through, like, direct messages on Instagram? It's like...
It drives interaction.
Yeah, it drives engagement. It has nothing to do with, like, the value proposition to you, me, or the hole in the ground for Instagram. It has everything to do with making sure people sit in Instagram longer every day because, like, they're responding to friends who message them through Instagram. And if you have...
Okay, I'm not sure about that. There are definitely a significant percentage of the user base that decides, I saw this picture and I want to talk to them about it. And it could be something innocuous like, where did you get that sandwich? Or, hey, I like them titties. Like, those are people that interact with the app for that particular interactability.
Okay.
And on the other end, there are definitely people that want to receive messages. There are people who run commissions or like run a business through that.
Okay, Rocky, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to the first point about, like, say, where did you get that sandwich or I like them titties, I think that if you want to know where someone got the sandwich, then there's no reason that, like, where did you get that sandwich can't exist within, like, a comment structure. Why does one need to DM someone to find out where they need to got the fucking sandwich? And I think that if you want to, like, comment and say something like, I like them titties, then if you can't say what you were going to say about someone's in the public space and prepare to get fucking ratioed for being a sleazebag, then maybe you don't say it.
Well, those things are true, but what you're describing is literally a difference between, say, Pinterest and, like, Instagram.
Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. There's a reason that, like, one's more popular than the other. And, like, maybe it could be just, like, pure algorithm that, like, talking to people makes people spend more time on the app. But definitely there are people that, like, gravitate to, like, that type of functionality. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get it. It is driving engagement. It is driving use. Like, people go to Instagram to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And making business owners of any kind beholden to the ecosystem of Instagram is a fucking nightmare. Like, I
agree.
I don't know how many horror stories I've read of people saying, like, you know, my business relies on Instagram and now it's serving pictures of whatever I do less often to people, and so sales of my service have plummeted.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems like a real nightmare.
Yeah. So, like, ideally, you know, it should be better because instead of, you know, like, shaking your fist at, like, you know, market forces, you can shake your fist at Instagram. But if Instagram doesn't listen, it just feels worse.
Right. Yeah. This is true of any what is truly social platform that is either out in the open about being a social platform or is not. Like, YouTube is not particularly transparent about the fact that, like, what YouTube is at this point is a social network.
Right.
You know, they're like, no, we're a place to come watch videos. Like, fuck off. You're a social network.
Maybe it's because the way I interact with YouTube, but YouTube doesn't feel like a social network. It feels like a place to watch videos.
I agree with you, but there are definitely people that use it as a social network. I think this is, like, a similar argument for, like, any app can be a dating app if you try hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe has a bit firmer legs to stand on.
And I think the difference is, you know, YouTube is rolling out features that increasingly push it into the social space. The stories style feature that already exists within, like, Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter, where, like, please look at this thing that will only exist for 24 hours and then it goes poofsies, is on YouTube.
YouTube rolled that out before Twitter.
Yeah, and and they're terrible and they're everywhere, and, like, YouTube has, like, text-based news feeds now. So people are like, feeling poopy today, and it's like, it's on their YouTube feed. It's like, this isn't a video, this is you saying that you feel poopy today. And everybody who follows you now is now going to interact with that. I am not a big fan of corporations positioning themselves in such a way as to be like, hang out your shingle and make your business entirely dependent on us. We swear that we'll support you. When in fact they have no investment in the market position of anybody that's using their platform whatsoever as an individual. James Stephanie Sterling, who has previously appeared on this show, has lamented at length publicly about their issues with YouTube and how YouTube is grandly fucking them in a huge way, and how their videos are getting sorted out to, like, an increasingly smaller number of people. Like, YouTube is just serving up the videos to less people, and they have no impact. But, like, something changed in the algorithm, and so because something changed in the algorithm, less people are getting exposed to the videos, period. Unless YouTube wants your shit to be discovered, it's not going to be discovered unless, like, you show up to YouTube knowing specifically the name of the thing that you're looking for and are armed with that with a search bar. And holy shit, this is a giant detour. Social networks suck. I'm a big fan of, like, maybe getting engaged with nonprofit social media tools like Mastodon. I've been really curious about getting involved in Mastodon. Friend of the show, Stu Templeton, is a big Mastodon proponent and is a big fan of nonprofit social media and how to use nonprofit social networks. So that way, like, talking with your friends online isn't necessarily about increasing the bottom line of some publicly traded corporation. Maybe we can have him on sometime soon to talk about that. But anyway, I bought a VR fucking headset. And I think I like it a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying VR. I think we thought you would.
I got a game called Mouse. Not Mouse. It's about a mouse. I got a game called Moss.
Oh, yeah. I remember Moss. Moss uses ASL.
The game takes place in the land of Moss, and the name of the cute little mouse who uses ASL is Quill.
Hmm.
It is so fucking cool. It's such a cool experience because it just feels like you're peering in these dioramas, and just to like see the little like mouse lovingly and adoringly staring up at your face, awaiting help. You know, like, please move that heavy thing for me, or pull that out, or maybe slow that water wheel down so that way I can jump over it. It's wild how quickly you develop an emotional connection with the protagonist in that game, because it feels like you're in this physical space, and you just see this little expectant mouse waiting on your help, and you're like, well, I will help you however I can, little mouse.
I mean, is that not your real life experience interacting with mice?
You know what? I don't have a lot of mouse time under my belt.
You don't have a lot. Why not? You got cats. Don't they like chase mice?
You mean like actual mice?
Yeah, like actual mice.
No.
Why not?
Well, because cats are for inside.
Oh.
Cats are for inside. Cats don't go outside.
One of your cats came in from the outside.
Yes.
Don't tell me cats don't go outside. Cats totally go outside.
But now that cat is an inside cat, that cat is never going to be an outside cat again.
Oh, I see.
Cats are for inside. Yes.
Cats are for screened-in porches.
That's one perspective. And I also got Journey of the Gods, which I was curious about because the way it was pitched when it originally came out was, this game is a Zelda-like in VR. So far, it's fun, and I'm definitely enjoying it. In fact, I'm enjoying it a lot. But I think that the people who were writing about it a year and a half ago were using the phrase Zelda-like pretty cavalierly. It's like, okay, I've got a sword and a shield and like a crossbow in this game, but a sword and a shield and a crossbow do not Zelda make. This is definitely an action RPG, but not all action RPGs are Zelda. One thing I did not expect about VR is I did not expect to enjoy shooting things so much more. There's something really, really satisfying about being in a physical space and looking down the actual iron sights of my crossbow, lifting it up so that way I'm looking through my iron sight and then shooting the crossbow and nailing something. And it just feels so much more satisfying. Like, say, hold left trigger to look down iron sights, hold right trigger to shoot, you know? It just, the experience of, like, being in a combat situation and responding to that combat situation, I guess,
with your physical body?
Yes, and being able to respond instinctively is like a very, very cool thing. Like, there was a critter, I was fighting it in the game, and it was like spitting these like little like purple glowing balls at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been just dodging the little purple balls, but I was like, can I hold up my shield and bounce the purple ball back so it kills itself with its own purple ball? And then I did, and it felt real good. Because up until that point, like, I had only just like dealt with those enemies by killing them either with my crossbow or swinging my sword at them. So like using the shield to like bounce back the projectile felt real good. And then later on I was like, can I just like bash it to death with my shield? Answer, yes. Yes, I can. The reason this game is called Journey of the Gods is because your character has the ability to like assume a god form where they have the ability to like impact the environment as a god. The first ability that you get is to make trees larger or smaller. When I encountered like the first boss in the game, like when I was like running around this field fighting the boss, like this thing is just cleaning my clock. So then I backed off of the field. I assumed the aspect of the god, and I like grew a whole bunch of trees around the field where the battle was taking place, and then went back to my regular size, because now that the trees had grown, I would have cover I could take during the battle.
Okay.
Yeah, which felt cool. You know, after defeating that boss, you get your second ability, which is the ability to hurl lightning bolts, which is cool because like I encountered this like boulder that was like blocking my path. So I assumed the aspect of a god. I was like, what if I just strike this fucking thing with lightning bolts? And I was able to like eventually knock it loose that way. I was like, that's cool. That's neat. I did hop into VR chat a little bit. I became an anthropomorphic banana. I went to a nightclub as a banana man. Immediately discovered that VR chat is full of, as near as I can tell so far, 3 kinds of people. people who are just walking around going like, hey guys, is it VR cool?
Mm-hmm.
They're in VR and what they want to talk about is VR. And the second type of people are 12-year-olds going, hi, just like consistently. And then dangerously horny people. That's it. That's all I've met so far.
It just sounds like Second Life.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Second Life.
So, I mean, I will continue poking around to see if I can meet more types of people. Like, there's a lot of different places in VR chat. There's also different, like, chat clients. I don't just have to use, like, VR chat. I went to a nightclub place because I was like, okay, it's a nightclub. Hopefully there'll be people doing things like dancing or sitting at the bar or maybe somebody up at the DJ booth. You know, lots of 12-year-olds going, hey, and people running around going like, VR is cool, and then the aforementioned horny people. So I will keep you updated on the front lines of VR chat. Also, I finished Hitman 3.
For sure.
Holy shit. Goddamn. So the 5th mission in the game takes place in this like Chilean vineyard, and it's amazing. It is hands down the best level in the whole modern Hitman trilogy. The way it combines all of the lessons of every previous level is super amazing. I flooded a room where there was a bunch of like grape presses. I flooded this room so there's like grape juice all over the floor, and one of my targets comes running to the room with like the master winemaker, and I lure him out onto the floor where it's just flooded with grape juice, and I then electrified the grape juice on the floor, and it felt so good and stupid. I killed a man with electrified grape juice.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Honestly.
Also dumped somebody into a grape press. That felt real good. Just like wandering around the space. There was like so many different like cool places and cool toys and interesting costumes. Absolutely magnificent. And this was all like the lead in to the final mission of the trilogy. So the final level on Hitman 3 takes place on a train.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are points in the level where you like exit the train and you're like either clinging to the side of the train or climbing onto the roof of the train. And if you're on the roof of the train, there is the potential to be hit by either a passing tree branch or a train line signal light. And it also creates a lot more pressure in the space because so often in a Hitman level, there is like a huge amount of like verticality. So like a reasonable escape in most Hitman levels is either going up or down or splashing out from the point where you were discovered or something. Like if things go sideways, there's usually quite a few different ways to run away in a Hitman level.
Sure.
Or to like reconsider your approach. But on this train, it creates this like huge pressure of the only way to move is forward. And if things go sideways, there's nowhere to really go. And so it created this like huge sense of mounting pressure where like the further you go, the stakes feel higher. There was a point where there was a flat car on the train and that was just filled with dudes who were all facing inwards. I needed to move down this flat car, and the first time I did it, what I did was to throw a flash grenade, temporarily blinding them, and just like book my way up the flat car as quickly as possible, hoping to God I would make it through the door before any of them recovered their eyesight. The second way I did it was to find the commandant of the unit, which was a costume that fooled all of them. So I just walked through them, and they all saluted me as I walked past.
That's fun.
Yes. It's one of those things where Hitman, even like functioning in this like this very, very limited space where you can't really go out and you can't really go up, and so it's like you're either in the train or on top of the train, is still creating these moments where there's still like the variety of execution in this as a Hitman level. Or just like sitting in like one of the cabins of the train being like, oh God, I just need to get by this guy, but he's standing there and he can see through my costume, and what do I fucking do? And because of the nature of the level, you know, where you start the level as a prisoner, you can't really come in with stuff. And so then came this moment where I needed to get past this guy who was always looking in the direction I needed to go. So I then needed to push back down the train until I could find something that I could pick up and throw, make a loud enough noise to distract this guy. So I pushed up the train, discovered the guy who I needed to turn around. Then I went back down the train and I found a fucking blueberry muffin. And I went back up the train, tossed the muffin, and then booked it as he went to investigate the sound of the muffin.
Huh.
Yeah. There's also a very, very particularly satisfying moment where you get far enough up train that you are able to decouple the cars behind you. So any soldiers or so forth that could have come through can no longer.
Mm-hmm.
So you're happy trails, by threats. There's this overwhelming sense of safety and satisfaction where you're just making all of that shit go away. And you just watch the rest of the map roll away from you. And that's so cool. It is the only Hitman level in the modern trilogy where you go into the level with an assignment to kill a particular person, but there is a pass condition for the level where you can complete the mission successfully without killing the target, which is fucking great. The culmination of the modern Hitman trilogy is the assassination of Arthur Edwards, the constant for Providence, who has made 47's life a living hell, and he's caused the collapse of the ICA, and he's threatened Diana, and he's killed 47's brother, Lucas Gray. He's also destroyed the partners of Providence and just coalesced all this power himself. And so when you finally reach Arthur Edwards and confront him, he takes out this syringe and shows it to 47 and tries to tempt him to inject himself with the syringe and says you know what this is, don't you? And 47 acknowledges that he knows that what it is this memory altering serum that has been used on him in the past to wipe his memories. Because part of the canonical history of 47 is the huge amounts of his own life that he can't remember. And 47 refuses to take the serum, and then Arthur Edwards stands up and goes and stands in front of a mirror and is well, then do what you have to do, but at least when I die I'll know who I am. And sure, at that point you can just shoot him in the back of the fucking head or fiber wire him, but you can also resolve the mission not by killing Arthur Edwards, but by injecting him with the serum and letting him live.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he doesn't then know who he is, so...
Exactly. Fine, fuck you, dude. The thing that you want to, cling and take with you to the grave is your identity. How about I don't send you to the grave, but I rob you of your identity? You can also resolve the game with the sad ending, where when you pick up the syringe, you can choose to inject yourself.
Right.
So I did the different ways of
resolving the particular moment.
Yeah. I'm also glad that as you explore that final train car, they put all of the signature tools that you would want in that moment are hidden in the car. Yes, there's a fiber wire. Yes, there's a silenced ICA 19 pistol. And also, very important, there's a fire extinguisher, baby. For fools like me. So I may have knocked out Arthur Edwards with the fire extinguisher and then dragged him to the back of the train car, and right on the edge of the train car, right beside the fire extinguisher, and then shot the fire extinguisher so it would explode, causing his body to go fly through the air and land on the train tracks. Felt real good. He had it coming. So Hitman 3, tons of fun. I'm starting to get into going back through the levels and exploring spaces I might not have seen on my first few playthroughs. The levels are absolutely massive. On my second playthrough in the vineyard, I discovered the house, which is on the property for the master winemaker. So there's giant elaborate villa on the map as well. In addition to having the huge tasting room complex and the winemaking facility and the vineyards itself. Yeah, there's just this huge fucking house, which feels like the size and scope of a map itself. And I've seen some people online bitching about the train, and you know what? I'm going to go on record and say, if you're bitching about the train, then fuck off. that part of what has made this trilogy of games so compelling is the small ways they have tweaked the experience in each level. It asks different things of you in different spaces and asks you to consider, like, how do I move around? How do I traverse? How do I consider each kill under the rules that exist in this single space? The Miami level from Hitman 2 was like very famously kind of like this like hourglass shape where like there was like huge spaces on either side, but it like funneled into this like very tiny space to get between the two large spaces. And so moving between them would require like a certain amount of finesse because it would narrow so much. I think the train is an expression of that. You know, it kind of takes something like an Ascent, like the Raid or Dread, where you need to like move, like the only way is forward. Mm-hmm. And instead of like making that push forward like a vertical push forward, it makes it like a just a lateral where you're literally pushing forward instead of up. But it definitely felt like it shared stuff with that, where like incredibly tense, incredibly tight space. Big love to the train. Loved going on the train in the Carpathian Mountains. Wanted to, I guess, briefly, and I'll make sure it's briefly because it feels like we're already in this for a while. Wanted to mention a movie that I just watched called PG Psycho Goreman. I cannot recommend this movie enough. I'm going to try and talk these two into a watch-along of this movie. So this movie is about a imprisoned intergalactic criminal who has destroyed hundreds of worlds and killed countless millions, who has been imprisoned in like this kind of like space prison, which is like buried on Earth. And his prison is dug up in the backyard of like two kids, and they let him out of his prison. And there is like a gem that is on the front of the vault that holds him, that basically whoever holds the gem, he is beholden to and has to follow their instructions. And so like he has to do whatever the little girl who dug him up tells him. And so on like one hand, he's like, I will drink your blood, burn your world, but I guess I will learn how to play crazy ball, young girl.
Wait.
Because
I understand this isn't the first iteration of this, but this sounds like Inuyasha live action, but like with an edgier dog boy.
Yeah, kinda.
I guess I don't know enough about Inuyasha to be able to respond to that intelligently.
Inuyasha is the story of a girl named Kagome who like ends up in a magical historical Japanese world. I think it's actually time travel.
Yeah, it's actually time travel.
She comes across a dog demon that's pinned to a tree by an arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And she frees the dog demon, but he's made to wear this like rosary that whenever Kagome says sit boy, he's slammed forcefully into the ground, essentially making him beholden to whatever she says.
It's actually just whenever she says a command word and she accidentally sets it to sit.
Oh, that's right.
Because she's like, he's a dog, what do I do? And she just says sit, which is the first thing she thinks of.
Mm-hmm. But continue, Psycho Goreman.
There's no transporting to like another magical realm.
Sure.
They just pretty much stay in Ohio?
Okay.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
Ohio's kind of magical. It's in this weird in-between world. It's the medium place.
And so, like, the Psycho Goreman, and she names him Psycho Goreman. She's like, you need a name, so you're going to be Psycho Goreman. He does things in the movie, like change the boy that she has a crush on into, like, a giant anthropomorphic brain that, like, drags itself around. There's a whole, like, B-plot about this, like, council of aliens, which are, like, led by these, like, total Power Rangers-looking ass, Sentai-looking fucking angel beings. These angels look like the kind of things that the Power Rangers would have been kicking in the nuts week in and week out. How they're on the hunt for Psycho Goreman to put him back in, like, space prison. And then there's, like, a weird C-plot about how the two kids, like, dad totally sucks. And is, like, the laziest, shittiest dad ever. Like, he totally ruins, like, the family microwave, and he, like, sits around all the time. I really enjoyed how it felt a lot like one of those, like, 80s kid adventure movies, but they took the silly comedy gore and turned it up to about 11. So you're getting like geysers of blood for comedy effect. The big reveal in the movie is that eventually, of course, like Psycho Goreman is no longer beholden to the girl, and he utters the line, like, "Thank you for teaching me, and now I will go destroy the world with the power of love." And it lands, and it's great. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of charm. Like, it's like someone watched a lot of the good trauma movies and like took what's good about them and like left the garbage on the side of the road. It's very easy to like watch, say, the Toxic Avenger movies now and just be like, not all of this lands and some of it is bad. But I did not really have this problem here. So Psycho Goreman, it's a good time. It's bright, it's colorful, it's funny. There's musical sequences and excellent fucking puppets all the time. Also, HBO Max now has all 5 seasons of Babylon 5, and they've remastered the special effects. Yeah, that's important.
Is it good?
Babylon 5 is great. It's one of the best fucking science fiction television series of all time. And I don't know who needs to hear it, but Babylon 5, if you haven't watched it, you should.
I remember in Ships of the Northern Fleet, they used a couple of leftover casts from Firefly. Like Gina Torres makes an appearance and she's a captain. She has a very different relationship with like Nathan Fillion's character, Captain Hellman. I don't know, man. Maybe you should give it a shot.
Are you saying that there's a kinship?
Well, I mean, it's not exactly space. It's still sci-fi. It's more steampunk, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
The show didn't get the full run. I think it's more fleshed out in the books. But the show, I think it got like 2 seasons. It did pretty well.
Okay. Have either of you watched Babylon 5?
Nope.
I don't think so. No, I've never watched Babylon 5. I think I started Battlestar Galactica at some point, and then, never finished it.
I also haven't seen Battlestar Galactica.
They are very different things.
Right.
Battlestar Galactica and Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
I am not here to tell you to watch Battlestar Galactica because as near as I can tell, the whole point of Battlestar Galactica is that everybody's a Cylon by the end. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the bits, I think.
But Babylon 5 is a show with rich character-driven storytelling and excellent politics. And I like it.
For sure.
It's on Hobo Max now, remastered. So I guess if you have Hobo Max and you listen to this show, maybe some B5 remastered is what you need. But I don't know, maybe not. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Then I guess the last thing I wanted to, mention before we dive into news is, I tried watching that show Resident Alien.
Sure.
Man, I don't know about that show Resident Alien.
Okay.
I can't tell if what they're doing is just like an elaborate bit to make fun of shows about neurodiverse detectives.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Because the main character is a space alien that is now in this Colorado town trying to hide out to find his weapon so that way he can blow up the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he clearly has no understanding of social situations because he's an alien. But in this town of 1,000, the sheriff is asking him to help solve a murder. He's also now the town doctor. And I'm just thinking about in the course of the last 15 years, how much television there has been about neurodiverse detectives or neurodiverse doctors. And it sure feels like the way this character is acting is the way television has been portraying these people for the last 15 years. I'm not sure if I'm okay with that because there's so many layers of the execution where if that's what the show is doing and it's aware that it's doing it, then it's kind of functioning as a criticism of that kind of television, saying shows like Numbers and House and the BBC Sherlock that had Benedict Cumberbatch in it. The absolute army of shows about neurodiverse people just being preternaturally gifted at solving things while simultaneously being air quotes kooky TM. If the show has the chops, then it would make sense that it could call that out and talk about the way that people in media other neurodiverse people and treat them as a novelty. But I just don't think the show has the chops for it. It just seems to be doing the things that those shows do without any kind of like metatextual commentary on it. The alien has this like internal monologue where he goes like, the thing that makes humans stupid is their need for connection to each other. I don't need connection with other people, therefore I am better. And I'm like, that seems like that could have just been lifted from like Big Bang dialogue in like the first few years. And then like later on, he goes to dinner with someone and is like, there's less of a gnawing feeling in my stomach now. I feel better. And I'm just like, fuck off. Like, this is just like straight up the stuff which television has been doing for neurodiverse people for the last 15 years. The magical autistic person. And I don't know if I'm being too hard on this show. I don't know if I'm even reading it right. But, like, that is my beat on it. And I sat through 2 hours of it. You know, I watched 2 episodes. And at the end of the second episode, I was still pretty convinced that, like, this is exactly what they're doing. I wanted to watch it because it has Alan Tudyk in it, and I like watching Alan Tudyk do things.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on ships of the Northern Fleet. But if this is all it has on offer, I don't think it's for me, and I'm not sure if it should be for most folks.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so I don't know if either of you have tried to watch this show or have watched this show or what your beat on it is.
I don't really mess with sci-fi like post-Caprica.
I've never heard of that show until today.
Okay.
But if you have concerns, I'm sure you could reach out to the neurodivergent community and ask them if you're reading this show, right?
There doesn't appear to have been like a great deal of like critical or even social writing about this show yet. It doesn't seem like it's, I guess, landing in any kind of meaningful way. Also, resident alien plus neurodiversity. All I was really getting in my Google results was resources for people who are permanent resident aliens looking for. And I was like, oh, I'm like, thanks. And so then I tried resident alien show plus neurodiversity. And it's like, hey, there's not many good results. And I'm like, that figures. That checks out. Fine.
So everyone vote now on your phones. Or, yell at us on social media about this show if you've seen it.
Yes. If you have watched the show, I would definitely appreciate your perspective on it. Looking at you, Oklahoma.
Aren't we more focused in Illinois now? I have no idea. I don't check the numbers.
I think it might be time to talk about the news. Anyone want to talk about the news?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
So boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know our favorite company, Activision
EA?
Blizzard?
Oh,
no,
EA.
Activision Blizzard. Close second. EA is our second favorite company. Activision Blizzard's our first favorite company because they create my absolute favorite franchise in the entire world, the Call of Duty. The Bellows of Obligation. That one. They're being sued for stealing someone's OC. They saw someone's OC do not steal and said, we have more money than that, and stole it anyway. So, all three for Call of Duty, Activision Blizzard, Infinity Ward, and Major League Gaming Corp are facing a copyright lawsuit pertaining to a character from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, an operator named Mara. The lawsuit was filed in a Texas court by one Clayton Hogan. Hogan. Yeah, a North Carolina-based writer and photographer who alleges that Activision stole Mara's appearance from photographs of his fictional character, Cade Janus. Yay!
Okay.
The character of Cade Janus features in Hogan's short story November Renaissance, with photographs having been taken for marketing purposes, as Hogan hoped to option the story to studios as a potential movie project. And he says that they didn't just hire the same model he used, who is streamer and cosplayer Alex Zedra, to portray Modern Warfare's Mara, but also used the exact same makeup artist that he hired and attempted to source the same props used in his original photo shoot. Hogan claims that his photographs, which he had shared on his Instagram, were a direct source for the development team and were pinned to the studio's walls. And we have an example in the show doc. It is Ooh, it is strikingly identical. It's not even like, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it a little bit so that it looks different. It is the same thing. They are twins. They are also the same person. So, like, fair. But also, I don't like it, you know?
I mean, there's no way this is going to court, because this short story writer from Texas, like, doesn't have that kind of money.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he'll get a check and they'll leave him alone, but, you know, this is just unabashedly shitty, which is what we've come to expect from Activision.
Short story writer, North Carolina. So, cosplay OC content people, make sure you say no. You put that my OC do not steal all over your shit. You know, because otherwise Activision Blizzard's gonna fucking steal them. All your D&D OCs, my content do not steal. You know? Watch them show up in the next fucking Diablo game or something.
I mean, there's no way this is going to be the end of this, and it's going to be done by people who are much smaller than Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that content creators have a recourse. And, like, the weird thing is that the person that's getting ripped off is exclusively this short story writer, who definitely came up with the idea for this character and maybe developed it in concert with this cosplayer / streamer and, like, this makeup artist.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the makeup artist is getting paid. The cosplayer streamer is getting paid. It's just the guy that came up with the idea who basically doesn't have, like, you know, the means to, like, proliferate it is the only one that's getting screwed. And maybe Activision could have cut that guy a check. But, like, from Activision's perspective, they'd just be sitting there like, why, though? Why do we have to pay this guy?
I want to say to Activision, congratulations. We've been back in our regular format for 2 weeks. And you managed to shit the bed twice. You shut down Vicarious Visions to go make more remakes of old Blizzard properties. And now this. So, congrats, Activision. We're 2 weeks out of Game of the Year, and you're already like the star of video games being awful. So, congrats. Like, a lot of times when you read about lawsuits like this, and then you get additional details, you're like, I'm not sure about that, my guy. This is not, I'm not sure about this, my guy. Like, it is ridiculous how similar these are.
Yeah.
And hiring the same cosplayer, hiring the same makeup artist, literally trying to get the same props.
Yeah, that's what makes it feel bad.
Yeah, this is bad. So, let me shift gears here for a second. A man was arrested for selling a Sobble.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah. A Japanese man was arrested for hacking and selling Sobbles for Pokemon Sword and Shield. He was arrested in Nagoya City. And is that Aichi Prefecture?
Are you asking a pronunciation guide?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Tegan. So that,
Yes, it is Aichi.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't fucking shit in the bed there.
Yeah, Nagoya City, IT Prefecture.
Okay.
That's where I studied abroad.
Neat.
Did you buy any hacked Pokemans?
No, but I did visit the Pokemon Center a lot.
Okay.
A lot. I bought a lot of Pokemon cards.
So, dude had a jailbroken Switch, and he was running an online service where he would, like, sell these, like, maxed out hacked Pokemans, and the individual hacked Pokemon he was selling for 500 yen with a commission of up to 800 yen, and people were buying up to, I guess, 6 at a time. Apparently, the total amount of money that he made off of this was around $10,000 US.
Ooh.
Okay, on one hand, sure, Nintendo should, like, I guess, defend IP, which is actively being sold. But, man, I don't know enough about, like, the way laws like this work in Japan. Is this guy going to fucking jail for selling a Sobble?
I mean, he is, like, in jail, right?
Okay, I guess I was thinking, like, is this something where he might get sentenced to, like, community service or get fined? Like, I don't know. Like,
what's the charge?
I don't know enough about, like, the way, like...
Yeah, it kind of depends on what the charge is. just because he was arrested by authorities doesn't mean that he's actually, like, officially been charged.
Mm-hmm.
It's more that he was found to have been doing wrongdoing, and so by arresting him, they were able to confiscate the corrupted goods, quote-unquote, and obtain, like, additional power to investigate further.
Okay. I also don't know a lot about, like, the way, like, the Japanese criminal justice system works in general. Like, I don't know if there is a premise of, like, not guilty until proven such, like, exists or not. I know that some criminal justice systems operate from a position of assumed guilt, which has to be disproven. And to Tegan's point, I don't know about the difference between, like, say, arrest versus charge. You know, like, can you be arrested without charges in Japan? I don't know. So I guess what I'm just trying to get at is, like, is this man going to prison for fucking Pokemon?
I don't think he'll go to prison, although with the recent potential change in Japanese copyright laws, possibly. But those changes haven't taken effect yet, so who knows? He will definitely be fined, and he will definitely be expected probably to either return or pay a section of his earnings to Nintendo as, like, compensation for messing with their IP in a way that they don't specifically approve of. Because he's charging people for these, that's the problem. If he was just sending them out via, like, Wonder Trade or whatever, they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. But he's making money off of this is the problem.
Would they not be able to do anything about it?
What would they be able to do? Like, I mean, Nintendo could, like, ban his account or whatever, but, like, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing, you know?
If they want him to, like, pay restitution, fine. I don't think that there's any, like, grounds to say that, like, he materially damaged their IP through selling this. I don't think that anyone thinks less of Nintendo because this guy sold some hacked Sobbles.
Oh, I'm almost certain there are people that feel that way.
Yeah, Japan's kind of intense about that sort of stuff. But, like, I don't know. We'll see. We have to remember this is the same Nintendo that canceled the Legend of Zelda Netflix series because somebody found out about it and posted about it online. Like, this is the same company. Right. So, I think it'll depend a little bit also about how Game Freak feels about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not just Nintendo, but also, like, Game Freak and the Pokemon Company part. So, like, Nintendo can have him arrested for using a jailbroken console, but also, how does the Pokemon Company want to protect their stake in this? How does Game Freak want to protect their stake in this?
Especially if, like, someone bought hacked mons and then, like, used them in a tournament. That could be a real problem.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a big problem. And the Pokemon tournament scene in Japan is pretty, I don't want to say intense, but it's very much like, it's a tournament and there are expectations. So.
What do you want to see happen to this dude?
I don't know. He goes home.
I mean, I feel like having his account suspended, his tact switch and game revoked, and having to pay the money to Nintendo would be enough. You know? I don't know if that's necessarily going to be enough for, you know, like, the Japanese Pokemon community, but, like, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Honestly, like, it's weird that he's selling the shit. I've been playing Pokemon for, like, 25 years. I know what hacked mons are, and I've seen people use them. I'm not going to say it's super obvious, but, like, a lot of times you can tell. If there's just some random kid on the street that has, like, less than 30 hours on the game, and he has a maxed out shiny Pokemon, that doesn't make any damn sense. And so, like, you'll play them, it's like, oh, it's a hacked mon, whatever, I'll move on. But, like, this guy's, like, selling them out of his, like, dorm room or whatever, or, you know, his apartment. And, like, it's just skeevy, and that's probably something that's going to be more, like, potent than, like, the fact he's selling hacked mons in general. Just, like, the skeeviness of, like, the action. I don't know, it's lame. Also lame that he was apprehended for it. Like, it's very much like, guys, are you serious? But, like, the whole thing is just kind of silly, depending on how far this ends up reaching.
Right. I definitely don't think that he should just, like, go home with, like, a pat on the head and an egg salad sandwich. I think something should happen, but, like, I don't think it should necessarily be go to fucking jail. I think kind of where I live is give Nintendo $10,000 and enjoy a ban from their online services. That's kind of where I live. Because I would kind of want to see how Nintendo, but again, back to not knowing enough about Japanese law, I don't know if they would even have to materially prove that he damaged their reputation. And like, that's a really difficult needle for me to thread, like proving that his sale of hacked Mons makes people think less of the Pokemon Company, think less of Nintendo. Like, I don't know. I think that on this show, I do a lot of talking out of my ass and saying that I have firmly held opinions about everything, but this is a case where like, I need to know more, and I don't feel like I'm adequately equipped. So, there we go. Tegan, do you have a story where you're adequately equipped and you have firmly held opinions?
I mean, I do, yeah. The firmly held opinion is don't harass voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
The story behind that one is obvious. Like, don't do it. It's not nice. But also, the 1.3 update for Genshin brought, announced more than just like new events and cool stuff and new characters. It also changed Barbara's voice entirely. MiHoYo pushed an update to all of her voiceover lines.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's a lot less, she's not a Genki girl anymore. She definitely sounds more like how she does in the English cutscenes. It's just her English voice that's changed, by the way. The Chinese, Japanese, and Korean voices are all still exactly the same. The English voice has changed to be more in line with how she sounds in the cutscenes, which is like subdued and gentle and pious in a weird way, instead of like your Genki sporty idol character. She is still voiced by the same voice actor,
Laura Stahl. Really?
It's still Laura Stahl.
That was what was confusing to me.
She is that talented that she was able to completely redo all of Barbara's voice lines. And everyone went, that's not the same person. And it is. That's what a good voice actor does. But people who like Barbara are sliding into her mentions and her DMs and adding her and saying, hey, why did you personally make the decision to change the way that Barbara is voiced as a character?
You need to leave fucking Laura Stahl alone. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's not... First of all, she has no control over it. MiHoYo does. The anime company in China. Second of all, even if she did, it's none of your damn business, you know? If you're upset about it, at MiHoYo and don't spend money on the game, Laura can't do anything about it. Leave her alone. She's just trying to do a good performance for you. Relax. You know? Barbara's still cute. She just sounds a little sadder, and that's okay. If the tone of her voice bothers you that much, change the language you are playing the game in. The Japanese one sounds exactly like a Genki idol girl. Like, you'll be fine. Relax. Leave voice actors alone.
True.
Anyway, that's my firmly held belief.
Do people not
No.
You know what, never mind.
Brian.
They don't, Brian.
God, why are people so fucking stupid?
Because it's easy. Pretty much. There's so many ways to be stupid. It's kind of amazing.
I just marvel at, oh, God. It's kind of like when somebody goes to the Applebee's and they try and order, like, the onion ring tower, and they're like, well, I'm sorry, sir, we're out of onion rings tonight. And they're like, well, I think that what I should do right now is, like, unload on this, like, server who's telling me that they're out of onion rings, you know, without considering shit like, okay, has Applebee's created a sufficient supply pipeline to allow for all the Applebee's to have onion rings all the time? Like, no, the person who you're talking to has no control over whether or not there's fucking onion rings. And being shitty to them is not going to get you onion rings. All it's going to do is make this person's day worse. Fucking be kind. How hard is it?
Being kind is actually surprisingly difficult sometimes. But even so, everyone should strive to do it.
It is not that far of a leap to go, like, the person I'm talking to has no control over the business decision on how this character is presented. They're not the person sitting in a room with a graph. They're not the graph person. Just like the person telling you that there's no onion rings is not the person who created the choke point in the onion ring supply. Fucking grow up. Have a heart. Oh my God. I can't with these people. I can't. No more onion rings ever for any of you. What's this character's name? Barbara?
Barbara, yeah, she's really cute.
Barbara's pretty cute.
Barbara hates you people.
Barbara would unabashedly despise everyone who's going after Laura right now.
It's true.
Literally. She would be like, that's the worst, and she wouldn't want to associate with any of you.
Ugh.
Just saying. It's like when Vic Mahoynehoy got busted for being a huge pedo, and everyone was like, well, Edward Elric would not have stood for this. And, like, it's the same thing. Barbara would be so upset with you.
Mm.
But she's a cute little lowly girl, so, like, the hurt is 10 times worse.
Dang.
Ed would just kill you. Like, you know, Barbara would go, oh, I'm so disappointed. You can't be my fan anymore. And then everyone would fucking lose their shit.
Anime nerds, AMV people, I need an edit of the final episode of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where instead of Ed giving up his powers at the end of the series, he gives up his voice, you know, forcefully, like, shunning Vic Macogna as his voice actor. I need that.
Oh, that'd be great. I would like that.
So let me give you a mission, you weird people out there. Okay, and I want to explain something to you people. Laura Stahl does not control the business decision to change the presentation of this character. Is it all Western markets or just the U.S.?
No, it's all Western markets.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all the markets.
Okay. Does not control the business decision to change the presentation of this character. However, Armie Hammer did decide to be a weird rapey cannibal.
He definitely has a body in a freezer somewhere.
Oh my god.
Mm.
When I heard that shit about Armie Hammer, my skin crawled, y'all. I did not realize that skin could crawl, but my skin was sitting beside me saying, we should get off the internet right now.
You understand when people are saying my skin crawls, that's what that means. It's that feeling right there.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. There's a reason I always thought he would make a good Patrick Bateman.
Oh, that's funny.
Like,
you know his wait, is it his publicist and his what was the other person?
he got dropped by his agency and he got dropped by his publicist.
There it is, agency and publicist. Like, same day, they said, nope, we don't want anything to do with this. Like, oh boy.
It's like, let me get this straight. You were literally sending women messages about cutting off their toes and eating them.
He did, it's true. There's screenshots and everything.
Oh, I don't like that.
That makes sense. No, that's entirely reasonable,
Yeah.
Teeks.
Tegan, your perspective is the right one.
It's
So
definitely
I guess what I'm saying is that in a week where we have two different news stories about people like bringing it to somebody online, do not bring it to Laura Stahl for voicing a character as directed by her employer. However, if you feel compelled to, if there's some part of you that is just like, man, I just need to bring it to an actor for something, why not take it to the actual fucking cannibal?
Mm.
That's a thought. Because you know what? He did wake up, he brushed his teeth and said, you know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be a creepy fucking cannibal. I'm going to be a rapey cannibal. Like, you can yell at that guy. Yell at him. There we go. Problem solved.
Brian, I'm gonna insert into the show doc what Barbara looks like because she's cute. She's so good and so pure and so cute. Yeah, I couldn't delete them all, my bad.
Ooh, the drip is still here. Let's go.
Isn't she cute? Look at how sweet she is. I love Barbara.
Barbara's pretty great. She's actually a really excellent healer with surprisingly good damage.
All right.
And because she's a water hydro user, she combines really well with a lot of other characters.
Yeah.
So, hey guys,
Mm-hmm.
Gearbox got purchased.
Cool. Who bought them?
Are we surprised?
I think a little bit,
Okay.
Okay.
because there was all that weird stuff over the last year and a half about like weirdnesses going on with Gearbox's financials.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
You know, like there was definitely like a shell game going on with like advances and profit pullouts
Mhm.
for as related to Borderlands 3. There was definitely some magical disappearing money, and then there's from several years ago, the issue with like magical disappearing money as it relates to aliens, colonial marines. I think that if you were going to go look at a company's books, there's a good chance something is weird going on with theirs. So, I mean, it could very well be that the reason that like Gearbox was like seeking a buyout was because there was no money and they needed to be bailed out.
Well, I mean, units sold was probably there. I mean, it's maybe, Pitchford and what was the other guy's name? The dude with the six-pack abs?
Oh, fuck. I completely forgot. You mean the guy with the six-pack abs with the house and the guns? The guy who went to work for the NRA.
Yeah, didn't he get like a wet willy from somebody or something? I don't remember.
No, the wet willy guy was an entirely other guy. That was an employee being harassed.
Oh, okay.
But
I guess
here.
what I'm saying is that like maybe like they spent their money on dumb shit, but like, Borderlands does move units, so maybe like new management makes more sense.
Yeah. David Lehman, thank Christ.
Okay.
That was the guy with the six-pack abs.
For sure.
All right, so Gearbox got bought, and they were purchased by the Embracer Group.
Mm-hmm.
The Embracer Group is like a group which is getting pretty big at this point, and like we should probably start thinking about them as like larger AA, smaller AAA. Like their portfolio of companies is getting pretty large, and like they have a large brand for purposes of like global marketing. They own Koch Media, Deep Silver, Volition, 4A, Saber Interactive, and a shit ton more. They have been buying dev studios, buying publishing companies just like left and right. At this point, they own 57 developers and publishers with their latest two acquisitions. The same day that they bought Gearbox, they also bought Asper Media. Asper Media has been a company that in like the last several years has been focusing on producing ports, and they specialize on ports to platforms that don't generally see ports. Like they ported fucking Jade Empire, the RPG that came out on the original Xbox. They ported Jade Empire to Android.
For sure.
Yeah, they ported Knights of the Old Republic 2 to iPhone. So, I mean, this feels like Embracer Group saying, like, let's go ahead and get a internal port house so that way we can launch our titles on as many different platforms as possible, which feels like smart business in the modern ecosystem. Why just, like, get PlayStation and Xbox money when you can also get, like, iPhone money and Android money?
Yeah, fair.
The deals on the Gearbox deal, the price amounted to $363 million, which included $170 million in Embracer Type B stock. And for those of you who are playing at home and don't know what like Type B or B shares are, is that when stocks have like graduated systems of like shares, B stocks are the better ones which have more voting shares. There's generally a ratio for like how many votes somebody who has like an A share versus how many people who have like shares of a B share have as far as like control of their votes. Vince McMahon owns 36.3% of WWE at this point, but virtually all of the stock that he holds are B shares. And the ratio for them is 100-1, meaning that like a B share votes 100 times before an A share votes once. So Gearbox ownership getting $175 million in B shares to Embracer feels like a pretty big deal, because it now means that the folks at Embracer have to like fucking deal with like Randy Pitchford in like a voting capacity, which sucks.
So like, I want to touch again on B shares on, you know, this week's episode of, hey, the stock market is fake. A like cursory explanation of how shares work is like ownership in a company, and usually like simple majority ownership means that you're a pretty big deal and you can control things in the company. But like the introduction of things like B shares, where they have magnitudes or orders higher amounts of like voting power, allows people to hold less stake in the company but still belong to a higher class, which is, you know, bullshit and made up. And I hate every single part of it.
Rocky, was this your introduction to B shares, or were you already aware of and angry at them?
I like knew about B shares, but I haven't gotten to talk to anyone about them, so I had to let that out.
Okay. And Vince at WWE is like a perfect example. He owns 36.3% of the company,
Right.
but literally nobody can overthrow him because of the concentration of power of his shares.
Right.
Fucking sucks. Fucking sucks.
Absolute garbage.
So now we are going to present here on Impossible Coin a brief one-act play called Embracer B-Share Stockholder Meeting. And the role of a guy who holds stock in Embracer, who has B-Shares, will be played by Rocky. And I will be playing the role of newly voting stockholder Randy Pitchford.
Wait, what's my role?
You're a guy who owns B shares
Okay, I own B shares.
in Embracer,
Cool.
and I'm Randy Pitchford. Oh hey, how are you?
Doing all right. Got my shares. I feel confident in my powers. I feel virile and clear and focused. Feel good.
When you say you feel confident in your powers, do you mean magic powers? I'm an aficionado of magic.
Oh, what? Magic? Isn't that for children?
Well, do children have secret theaters in their houses where they force the help to perform elaborate sex acts for masked audiences?
Oh. Oh, no.
Leans in close. Did you know that squirting is magic?
Oh, my God.
Insane. This guy's at Embracer meetings now. Like, inviting Randy Pitchford to any kind of room where adults are supposed to be talking about anything is the biggest example of, sir, this is a Wendy's I can think of. Like, just, like, why would you ever want Randy Pitchford to, like, have an ability to talk with adults about anything? Just, it's fucking beyond me.
Well, to be fair, I don't want Randy Pitchford around children either. Just saying.
Is there an island we can send him to? I mean, honestly, Randy Pitchford just annoying people who own B shares around the world sounds like a good idea. Like, I would like to, like, I mean, that sounds good, but, like, unfortunately, the byproduct of this is that he's also one of them, you know?
Yeah, he has power.
If there were just people in a room like, hey, we own B shares in General Electric, I'd be like, that's great. Hi, B shareholders of General Electric. This is Randy Pitchford. He'd like to talk to you about cam girls. And I just walked out the room after I leave Randy Pitchford there. That sounds like a good time because, you can't do anything except annoy them. So, like, maybe the mission is slightly different. We send Randy Pitchford to meetings of B share stockholders where he's not eligible to vote. How's that sound?
I mean, sounds better than what we've got.
Yeah. I would like to see the WWE stockholders meeting where, like, Vince is trying to talk to everybody and tell them how it's going to be, and he's like, all right, and here's what we're going to do. We're going back to Saudi Arabia this year. And then, like, Randy Pitchford just, like, raises his hand and he's like, do you want to see me do a magic trick? The mission is different. Please donate to our Patreon so we can send Randy Pitchford to B-share stockholder meetings.
Oh, my God.
So our last story this week, our last news story, is EA decided to do something good, and the internet reacted like the internet about it, surprising no one. BioWare announced a remaster of the first Mass Effect game, and they said that they're, like, going to update all the assets, and they actually even discovered that the source code for one of the old DLCs is now completely missing. And so, like, when they release this remaster, that DLC will be missing. But, like, the thing which is more surprising from this is that they decided to remove some of the weird, gross, male-gazy stuff that was in the first Mass Effect game. In the game, whether you were playing male Shep or female Shep would basically, like, always move the same way. And so, like, if Shep sat around, like, doing this, like, giant man spreading, so would female Shep. And they're like, this is not great, because of the way that the camera sits and the character positioning. This is, like, very male-gazy. And character animator Kevin Meek said, specifically around the animations, we couldn't really change a lot of these. There were times that you could change the camera to not focus on one of these animations, so a male shepherd would have himself sitting with legs quite wide with a low camera, where if you were wearing a skirt, it would be a bit unflattering. So they've gone back and fixed that. And also, there's a bit in Mass Effect 1, which became kind of famous, related to a character called Miranda and some focusing on her ass. When Mass Effect 2 came out in 2010, Miranda's butt became a meme, and people called the game Ass Effect 2. So, like, flash forward to today, their team at BioWare is like, this kind of stuff is just not appropriate in this kind of like lascivious objectification. And a quote from the project director for the remaster, Mac Walters, is, I do think there are things that have evolved since the original game, but I don't know if I would say that we were ultra concerned about anything like that. But there were considerations. Kevin Meek called out some camera cuts that were just focusing on Miranda's butt. So in some cases we said, okay, we can make a change there. So it's weird. Like, that's him like playing it down, but they did it anyway. Like, changes were made because of concerns raised by animators and raised by people working on the project. Naturally, the internet flipped out over this, and Twitter started running around doing as Twitter does, calling the removal of the lascivious ass shots and the removal of the Shepherd manspreading from Mass Effect Sharia law.
That's not what those words mean, though.
Mm-mm.
Yes, as has been said on the show many times before, words have meaning, words have power.
Also, shout out to me, because my timeline doesn't actually have angry video game nerds on them, but specifically people who respond to angry video game nerds. So, like, I don't get to see their tweets or whatever, but, like, I see people that like, talk about, it's like, guys, Sharia law just translates to law. Like, you know that, right? You guys sound like idiots. And I saw that without context, like, that's kind of funny, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. And I just went about my day.
Yeah, I was the same way, Rocky. I kept on seeing, because I follow a lot of people within the industry, and there were a bunch of people who were like, Jesus Christ, these fucking idiots, talking about it, but I didn't have the idiots themselves on my timeline. I'm like, again, shout outs to me for some adequate like timeline curation.
Yeah.
But then I ventured into the wild to go find these people, and I was like, oh God, oh no. There people who get angry in this life because you can't jack off this one time. You're so pathetic.
No, but here's the funny thing. They can still jack off. Like, the stuff is out there. There are full-fledged animators making Mass Effect porn to this day. But, like, because it's not canon or whatever, like, it's the same thing with the fucking, like, with Melina with, like, the, the extended mouth where it, like, goes from, like, jawbone to jawbone. And it's like, fuck, I can't jerk off to this. It's like, what? All their tits are so much smaller. Like, dude, who cares? It's a fighting game. They're ripping each other's heads off. Why are you jerking off to this? Whatever, you know what? I'm not going to kink shame. That's not what this is about. But, like, holy shit.
Asterix, we do kink shame Army Hammer, but that's different.
Oh, yeah, but, we just kind of sent him to jail. We should keep him away from people.
Right.
Somebody take his phone. Damn, actually, there is a continuing conversation about allowing inmates having more regular access to phones, which I actually support, but I don't think Army Hammer should be one of those people.
But, like, back to this, like, BioWare Activision thing, like, I've got, like, thoughts all over the board. Like, one, holy shit, when, like, BioWare is like, hey, guys, we just lost part of the source code for one of the DLCs for Mass Effect 1. So this, like, remaster, which will include all of the DLCs, will include all of the DLCs except that one. That jumps out at me like, game preservation is important. It's like, this is not like a 40-year-old video game. People are not like tracking down like dusty lore from like before people were born. Like, this video game is a little over 10 years old. This game can't drive yet. This game can't buy cigarettes. This game can't get a beer. This game can't even join the army. Can't vote. This game has missing parts, and it's that young. Please take game preservation seriously. And as regarding the asses, there are places left and right that you can see asses and you can see titties, and they're not in ways that make the asses or titties feel bad, and it's places where it's perfectly appropriate for you to be super duper horny. So why don't you go take your horniness to one of those spaces and let everybody else fuck around with Mass Effect? The end. Well, guys, I think that's everything this week, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm tuckered out. I think I'm going to go have myself a little dinner and probably relax with a glass of cider.
Is it a new flavor?
Well, it's made with just a little green tea, and the only sugar that got used was raw honey. So it took forever to ferment. It doesn't take the usual 3 days that I expect from my friends at Bruzy. But just because this took 7 days to ferment doesn't make it any less satisfying to know that I made this cider myself. And making it with green tea and making it with honey gives it a really unique flavor. It's very light. There's a citrus taste to it, which is kind of like surprising for something which is like, made with apples. I think it's coming from like the way the green tea is intersecting with the apple. So you guys should try that. Like, get into winemaking, get into cider making. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to get into it, you can do it at a lower cost by visiting our friends at Bruzy at bruzy.refr.cc/impossiblecoin, where you can get 15% off your order. So, get in there. It's a weird new way to be creative as we are hopefully navigating the last several months of Pandemic Palooza. The link is also in our link tree.
Hey, everyone. This has been our show. It's called Impossible Coin. We do it every week. You can find us wherever podcasts are found. Most of our stuff's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Guys, can you hit SoundCloud for me?
Fuck SoundCloud.
Speaking of SoundCloud, there's music at the beginning and end of this podcast, and it was produced by our friend Big Sach. You can find his work on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/BigSachNJ, and maybe drop him a line on Twitter at Hillary_Swank. Our logo is also a t-shirt. This is designed by Lauren Moran. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren Moran, and consider donating to her Patreon. She does very good work. And like her, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/ImpossibleCoinPodcast, where we keep our premium watch-alongs, our audio essays, and bonus content relating to wrestling and anime. We're also on social media, so if there's anything you want to talk to us about that we talked about on the show, you can find us on social media. It's all Impossible Coin, no underscores, dashes, or anything weird like that. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Brian's on Twitter. Tegan's on Tumblr. Once again, it's all Impossible Coin. But that's us. That's the show.
I hope you liked it. Whoop whoop. Peace.
Bye.
See you later.